Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man and Roxy at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, welcome to the watch party for them, exclamation mark. The big giant ant picture from 1954, directed by Gordon Douglas. A perennial big bug favourite. One of the best of the creature features. One of the best of the 1950s sci-fi horror run. Right alongside there with The Thing from Another World, The Day the Air Stood Still, This Island Earth, Forbidden Planet. Them ranks really, really highly. Black and white, Academy ratio, although it was meant to be in full colour and in 3D, as you will see, because certain camera positions and camera setups and inactions on screen clearly were devised to point things at you out the camera. Now, the cameras malfunctioned pretty much straight away, but certain shots have kept in the film, and so it's not colour, it's black and white, it's not 3D, but you've still got the elaborate title sequence where the title itself, Them, comes out at you at the screen, whoa, right in your face, in blazing red and blue ringed letters. Isn't that amazing? Now, at the time of this recording, I have reviewed this movie already on the channel, very, very in depth, so you can always have a look at that. But this will probably unveil more delights just watching it alongside you guys. But we have now got a remake doing the rounds. It's in development at the moment. It's Michael Giacchino. That is the composer, now turned film director. And he did Werewolf by Night only a few scant months before this. And in black and white, and a pastiche of the old Universal horror movies. And also taking an old Marvel comic book anti-hero. And he did an astoundingly good job with that. So he does seem to be a real good fit for a remake of this movie. And this movie about giant ants on the rampage really can benefit from having today's special effects. Now, I'm not a big advocate of CGI. You guys know this. I've discussed it many times. But it's a tool that can be used. And if used correctly and wisely, it can only be a great thing. So you look at Starship Troopers, which for some people, oh, that's the remake of Them. No, it ain't. Aliens is the closest you've got to a remake of Them, because Aliens from Jim Cameron definitely takes a few elements of this movie on board, which we'll discuss, obviously. But to show huge ants on the rampage, an army of these bastards, laying siege to desert locales and then to the storm drains and the city environs of LA. Well, in this movie, you only had a few big puppets that could do anything. That was it. Only one that was full size and could move about and be puppeteered. The rest were just partial ants. So if you want to show this sort of thing in all its gut-munching, limb-eviscerating, ant frenzy, carnage, rife, rampage, crazy stuff, you're going to have a horde of CGI ants. So I'm afraid that's the way it's going to have to go. But it could still work. And I have a lot of faith in a remake of this movie. But whatever happens, whether it's a complete and utter turd, it will not tarnish the fabulous reputation and the sheer quality of this movie, which has mystery, suspense, horror, action, bit of humour, not too much, but a great spectacle and a huge scope of an idea for what could be the end of mankind. It's brilliant. It's forward thinking. It's semi-documentary in certain aspects, but it has tons and tons of action and atmosphere in abundance. So, why the hell am I prattling on? Let me find some alcohol and then we'll press play. Cheers, y'all. And I must remember to turn the sound down, otherwise we run the risk of being blocked Because, oh yes, copyright, that old demon could always come up and bite me on the arse. So, right, I'm playing, for the record, I think this is the US release of Them on Blu-ray. Now, every version of this, I think, is pretty much the same that's on Blu-ray. So if you've got a copy there, when I do the countdown, like 3, 2, 1, press play. I've already gone beyond the disclaimers and all that kind of shit. So when I say, press play now, the film will begin. So let's do this, and let's hope it actually genuinely comes on when I do press that button there. So we're going to count down from, let's do 5. Let's do 5. A high 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play now. Warner Brothers logo comes on. Nice, big, grainy black and white. Them! Look at that. Whoa, it comes shrieking out towards you. Bronislaw, what's his name? Bronislaw Kaper's score is fantastic. We get this little static shot there of those, what, Joshua trees, are they? Pretty much saying, we're in the land of sand and arid deserts and insects. There's also things like snakes and tarantulas out there. Listen to this music now. The creepy aspect comes in. Directed by Gordon Douglas. Spot a plane. It's great the way that you went from like a static screen there, and as soon as the credits finished, the plane is actually on its way towards you. There you go. New Mexico State Police. Because they've already spotted things out there which are mysterious. The great James Whitmore. These are state troopers. There's Ed Blackmore, and he's played by Chris Drake. His name's Black Bear, not Blackmore. Let's get that bit right. But look, they've spotted this little child. Look at her. That's bizarre. That's so haunting, that. And then we see close-ups of her as well. A little girl lost. The Twilight Zone would pick up on this sort of thing as well. I love the concern on their faces as well. James Whitmore is a fabulous actor. Shawshank Redemption and The Relic. But look at her face. Look at her face. Dressing gown on. She's just completely in shock. And it works. You believe that. Still cannot believe that guys out in the desert like that can wear uniforms as tight and as... Look at all the bling as well. They've got tons and tons of stuff on their uniforms and tunics and shirts. She's amazing. My father-in-law, Big Bob Alty, is a dead ringer for James Whitmore in this movie. I always said this. So it gives like a bit of a, I don't know, a great personal angle to watching this movie. He's such a great guy. And Whitmore's a fabulous actor. Look at it, they've still got the plane buzzing around. A lot of other movies would have forgotten to do that. They just have these guys there, found the girl, forgot about the plane, but the plane, like, we're going off, you've got her now, I'll go ahead and see what's up in front, up the road. So he found a camper, a trailer. Look at her face. She's played by someone called Sandy Deschard. Sorry, if you can hear snoring taking place, you can take your eyes off the screen for a second. It is the husky lying next to me. So. She's brilliant, isn't she? And I love the way that she begins to drift off. Because her body's just probably exhausted. There you go, looks all nice, doesn't it? Oh, did you come from here, honey? Is your mum and dad home? So Ed Blackburn, he's just a trooper, but his boss is the sergeant. But they are buddies, and you get that from this. I love all this. The care and attention shown to her. Whoa. What the hell? It's very like the film Grizzly, which I have reviewed and done a watch party for as well. William Girdler's nature fighting back, an 18-foot tall grizzly bear raking havoc in a national park. And you find like cabins which have been ripped out on one side because the bears broke in. Money, but not stolen. Blood. The air of mystery is fantastic. You see wreckage. I love movies that depict the aftermath of, you know, a deed, and like just the horror and the wonder and like what the hell happened. Again, you know, for a film of its time, he's showing a bit of proper police procedural there, leaving no fingerprints on the gun, not contaminating anything. What? And this is how they identify the girl as being from this camper and trailer, because that's part of the doll's skull and also a bit of a rag from her dressing gown. Sugar. I mean, it's a bit, I'll be honest, it's a bit daft, you know, little tiny sugar cubes like that, and the ants, when you see the size of them, they wouldn't be arsed about sugar like that. And I love this as well, you know, the prints of the ant's feet, hooves, what do you call an ant's foot? Right. Great setting, isn't it? Look at it. This is a film which has lots of radio babble and sort of jargon and call signs and logging on, logging off, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, look, this is where they realise. Looks like a 914. What's that? Possible giant ants. So that's part of the doll. That's part of her dressing gown. So she's definitely from that wrecked camper van. All the flash bulbs. Do you need flash bulbs in the middle of the New Mexico desert? Look, he's taken a cast of these bizarre prints. Here we go, folks. Here we go. You're going to hear the ants' communication sound, the stridulation, which is, here we go. Watch their reactions. Oh my God. She gets up. They're not even aware that she's got up. See, it's got them. They're like, what the hell is that? The poor girl will just drift off again. She's fantastic. Gets pretty freakish in these parts. Yeah. And you'll hear that stridulation a few times in the movie because it becomes the signature theme for the ants, obviously. But every time people stop and they listen and they look around, like it's so horribly eerie. And what it is, of course, it's a manipulation of the sound that tree frogs make and various other arboreal animals, but a lot of tree frogs, and it was played and replayed and looped and reversed and manipulated to get that noise, and it is an incredible sound effect. Oh, we're going further on. We're going to Gramps Johnson's store. Now the wind's picked up. Now it's eerie. It's night time. Tumbleweeds are blowing everywhere. Look at the light. The overhead lights are swinging this way and that. Our two boys are going in. Shit. The place is a fucking mess. What the hell's he been up to? Oh, Gramps Johnson. He's been smoking pot again. He's had some of them wild women from the mountains. Some of those Hills of Eyes girls. Listen to that wind. This is spectacular. This reminds me so much of in John Carpenter's The Thing, when MacReady and Dr. Copper, so Kurt Russell and Richard Dysart, go and investigate the burnt out, dilapidated remains of the Norwegian camp. The shadows, the opening of doors, the finding of certain things, and the sound of the wind. And the World Health Organization, did you hear that? Prescient stuff there. Check for robbery on a big old-fashioned till. Oh, these are all subtle clues, these. Again, like in Jaws, you will see subtle clues as to maybe the size and the beast that's under the water. But when you finally see the monster in Jaws, it's much bigger than what you've seen. But I've addressed this in reviews and my watch party for Jaws. Here we go. It's Gramps Johnson. And a bit of gore. He was dragged and thrown down there. And now they realise, just like the trailer van. Can you imagine being these guys? In reality, you'd be like, what the fucking hell? What would you be thinking? It wasn't pushed in, it was pulled out. What would be doing it? You're not going to be thinking, oh, it's giant ants. Is it a werewolf? Look, there's... Now you got normal ants there. Normal ants. How come they've not been irradiated? Doesn't matter. We won't dwell upon that. No robbery. It's another 914, folks. I should check up what that is. A 914. Look at that. There's a bit of... He's his boss, but Ed Blackburn's staying behind to ride in with the body of Gramps Johnson. And you look at like James Whitmore's face there, Ben. And he's just like, oh, you've got the ant stridulation there. Ben's only just driven off, by the way. He's only just got in the car and begun to drive off. I love this. You do that, you turn the lights out, you make yourself less of a target. Although you've got so much bling, shiny badges and buttons that you're a massive target anyway. I do like this guy. I think he's great. Sadly, this will be the end of him now. But I remember as a kid watching this over and over again. Like, I always felt so sorry because I like this guy. Well, that's it. Round the corner and. And the Wilhelm scream, which you'll hear about 4 times in this movie. The famous Wilhelm scream. And their Blackburn's done it. Look, these are the bits that they found. There's the doll as well. His partner's hat. It wasn't your fault. You know what I was saying before? Like the humanity when Ed Blackburn says, I'll stay behind, I'll ride in with Gramps Johnson. And Ben just goes, okay, stay loose. You get that sort of genuine camaraderie. And he hasn't slept, he's drinking coffee, but he won't rest. He's lost a partner. He's great in this. He's such a wonderful actor, James Whitmore. And pretty soon you're gonna meet the other big star of this movie. And I don't mean the ants, but James Arness. Big James Arness, 6'4", 6'6", who he was the Thing from Another World. He was the extraterrestrial in the Arctic camp in the original Christian Nyby Howard Hawks' The Thing from Another World. And of course, he would go on to play Marshall Dillon in Gunsmoke. But you need to watch because James Whitmore is a short arse, and the size differential between him and his co-star James Arness is colossal. So he will start wearing lifts in his heels and his shoes, but that doesn't compensate. So what Whitmore does, he begins to make a lot of hand gestures and pick up props and move around to try to bring himself into the frame so your eyes don't just look at the big guy in the shot. And it's great. The best is James Arness now. Low camera angle, which actually gives a bit more sort of height to James Whitmore. But look, he's a midget compared to him, as is everybody. So the FBI are now involved. So what's his name? He's Graham. Is he not Will Graham? Will Graham's in Manhunter, isn't he? What's his name? Robert Graham. That's it. So they've got the print taken from the ant's foot, but none of them have a clue what that is. And of course the FBI have got involved because the guy, the father of the little girl that was lost, is an FBI guy with his wife and his daughter, but the wife and the father are gone. Ant fodder. That wasn't the best entry I've ever seen. Man, you're way too wooden and straight, you. Here we go. Any one of 5 ways. Do you hear that? Here's one for Sherlock Holmes. There was enough formic acid in to kill 20 men. Doctors Medford of Department of Agriculture arriving Army aircraft, approximately 1500. See again, look at the framing of the camera work there. You've got Ben in the foreground, so he's taller than the massive giant that is James Arness. All these old movies where there's endless ciggy smoking taking place. So you've got a state trooper who is now working with the FBI. His actual role in the case would be over by now. Apart from, a partner has been killed, got to investigate that. But now the FBI's taken over, and now you've brought in doctors from the Department of Agriculture. So his actual active participation in this case would be over by now. But a lot of these films of their time, you'd have the hero would suddenly be in league with the FBI, with the Army, the Air Force, or whatever. They may only be a reporter, but suddenly they're the big hero. And this is what will happen with Ben, with James Whitmore. He will become a flame-throwing, valiant super warrior. Edmund Gwenn as Dr. Medford Sr. Oh, hello, it's a lady. Hi. The little look the ground crew officer does. Not even sure you can get away with that these days. A little sort of as the woman walks past and you look behind her and look her up and down with a big grin on your face. We've got work to do. Look at his finger. We've got work to do. Come here. Come here, Pat. Daughter of mine. Almagordo. And she is Joan Weldon. Is it Joan Weldon? Yes, Joan Weldon. She is very nice. Going to look at the heroines of movies from the 40s and 50s and the way the fashions change. The hats, the hair, the long skirts, the rather chunky high heels. It's of its time, of course, but you can tell that they are absolutely gorgeous, these women. Of course, Edmund Gwenn played Father Christmas in the original A Miracle on 34th Street, and he's very dogmatic, and he's older than his time here, and he's grandfatherly. But he's also quite irascible and determined, and I like that about him. And he does look at the height differential there. Look, dunk, dunk, dunk. James Arness, James Whitmore to Edmund Gwenn. They were like massive stepping stones. Oh, this poor little girl. Of course, in Aliens, you'd have Carrie Henn playing Newt, who the Ripley and the Colonial Marines will discover her in Hadley's Hope as the only survivor of the colonist camp there, which has been overwhelmed by xenomorphs. And she is the only survivor. And it's very similar to finding this little girl here. And the title of the film will come to the fore in a second or two. They're going to use formic acid. They found Gramps Johnson full of formic acid. These guys know what does that kind of thing. So they're going to make her sniff formic acid. Oh God. She is good, this girl. Jesus. God, she does that so well. The sudden realisation, the shock, and then she just runs and gets to a corner and just holds herself in the corner. Wow. Tumbleweeds. The tumbling tumbleweeds. One day I'll do one of my little sets for one of my videos. I'll have tumbleweeds going across them. Yeah, these sun goggles they're wearing. In reality, they are bright yellow. These horrible goggles that they're wearing. See, he's a massive big professor, knows his stuff, but about his chosen field. But he's a complete and utter dickhead when it comes to anything else practical. You know what? These are great camera shots, these. The group shot that you get, which is the hallmark of films from this period. Get all your cast lined up. Nowadays, obviously, there's constant cuts to and from, close-ups and zooms and all that kind of thing. But back in the day, just get all your characters lined up, let them talking to each other. John Carpenter does this as a holdback. A callback, not a holdback. I'd like to. You big bastard, you. We know what you're after. FBI, Schmeshbi. You're good on the eye, Pat. There you go again. You'd be bloody lucky to find, fresh prints when the wind's blowing sand all over the show. But then again, this is a very fresh print. Because there's one of these critters right nearby. That way. They've got to help him get up. I get this. I actually understand, the dogmatic procedure here. He can't say, because if he gets it wrong, he's going to look like a right fucking idiot. Also cause mass panic for no reason. Got to be sure. But don't worry, Dr. Medford Sr. You're going to be proved right in a moment or two. This is great, this. We're going to see our first ant coming over the dune there. The stridulation. Again, they stop and they look. The fuck is that noise? Imagine how creepy this must have been when people first saw it in 1954 on the big screen, or the drive-ins. When I was a kid, when I first saw this, it freaked me out, man. That noise. I'd reenact it in the playgrounds. Look at this. Don't any of you laugh. That looks bloody freakish, that. Wow. And they are freakishly weird ants because they're hairy. Ants aren't hairy. Look at that. That's a great shot, that. There's the big guy. Hey you, I'm the thing from the world. Get the antennae! Get the antennae! And he's like, get the other antennae! Get the other antennae! And of course, every state trooper has a Thompson submachine gun. Bloody lucky you did have one. Oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell is that? I like that as well. The little makes them stop and think, is it really dead yet? Can you imagine the smell off that bastard? What is it? Yeah, but what is it? Don't give me that Latin shit. I love the way that the FBI and state trooper think that, oh, we've got it now. And they kind of think like, oh, we've got it now. Ugh. That's what you want. You want to see ants use their mandibles to rend, tear and shred their victims. Grip them, but they kill with the stinger. They realise now this was just a scout foraging. They're like, shit, how many more of these could there be? And then you hear more of the noise. Oh, mate, you've not got enough bullets in that. Biblical prophecy come true. See now, isn't that weird? You've got a scientist who's actually well versed in biblical prophecy, biblical rhetoric. Oh, here's the Sikorsky 5H5, I think it is, which is a very insectoid-looking vehicle. I think all sort of helicopters are vaguely insectoid. You know, they're bulbous undercarriage, fuselage, and obviously with the rotors going round. But these ones, these vintage helicopters, these Sikorskys, there's something really, I don't know, they are like big insects, like a praying mantis just given wings. Really, yeah. I think we're going to find there's way too many more than you can imagine. He's already postulating his theory as to how these came about. Why are they so big? Where did he come from? This is General Kibby. Like, you got the general who's flying the helicopter as well, like. Oh, here you go. You got some more radio banter and using the correct communication jargon. I mean, these are the little bits of sort of comedy. Got to remember, like, back in the day when people saw this, you'd need a bit of brevity at this stage, having seen what's been committing these murders. And like, shit, it's big giant ants. Ooh, bugs, don't like them. No. Audiences would have been like, oh God, no. So you need a bit of brevity just to lighten the mood. That is my father-in-law sitting right there. And my father was 91 at the time of this recording, and he still looks just like that. Look at him, he's fucking huge, and the fashions of those days when you'd wear a suit with oversized shoulders. All your clothes for a bloke were much bigger than the frame you meant to put them on. Now he's fucking 6 foot whatever, huge bastard, and he's still wearing clothes which are bigger than his frame. What's the point of that? Oh what's that? Can you see the big road there? Look at that, the hole in the ground there, and that sort of run up there. That's a dead ringer for finding the UFO in the ice in the thing from the world. With the hole where it's melted through the ice and the big sort of run up to it. Look at that, that helicopter does not look like insectoid, doesn't it? Oh, look at this, a bloody rib cage. Oh, it's grim, isn't it? Yeah, we've been eating you and all your mates and all the Mexican immigrants, the immigrants. Look at this. Bones and skulls, and of course Ed Blackburn's pistol belt. You've got to assume they've killed other people as well in the area, in the outer environs. You've got to see that water coolers haven't changed in the many decades since this film was made. They're still big, ungainly, and if you knock them over with your elbow, or if you're trying to, in Lethal Weapon 3, you're trying to make a fool out of Danny Glover, you can boot it off with your big gangly foot. Cause a right mess. I've knocked one of those over several times, in fact. So isn't that weird? They don't like the heat of the desert, but they proliferate in the desert, as do many other insects, but they're subterranean throughout the day and come out, forage, scavenge, feed, hunt of a night time. Scenes like this could be horribly expositional, because it's the scientist telling you the things you need to know and beyond about the threat. It's putting you in the picture, but this is actually pretty good. If you look at that map behind, someone's put a lot of time and effort into that. Food trap, food storage, and the pictures of ants and the little tunnels. Ooh, not yet. Right, okay. Again, you've got this height thing. Look at it. Look at that image there. General Kirby standing tall. Eb and Gwen. And, you know, the height differential, the heads at certain angles, certain heights. And the biggest guy ever is sitting lowest in the frame. That's on purpose, that. And just one more thing. Aren't you Father Christmas? Cyanide gas. We completely incinerate the surface of their nest, keep them down, and then pump cyanide gas into the gas bombs. So again, you've got the state trooper now. He's going to be wearing military fatigues and firing bazookas. You've got cyanide gas bombs and bazookas. Don't be fucking smoking cigarettes at the same time. See, even like the FBI guy is not going to fire one, but our state trooper is going to. Hey. Yeah, I know. It's a good shot, that. I don't mean the actual bazooka blast, but the distance, the dimensionality of that, but the superimposed explosion, of course, on the first shot. But it still looked good. Like that. It still works. And I love the way that, you know, you got the guys. This is creepy as hell. You wouldn't be one of those two, would you? Going out and checking. The ciggies again. Again, you got a submachine gun there, but you haven't got enough ammunition to do much damage, have you? Ants, there's never one ant, is there? There's bloody millions of the bastards. Here we go, here we go. Who's been knocking on my door? Of course, in reality, ants are going to move a hell of a lot faster, which is why, you know, this film is amazing and wonderful in every aspect, apart from the reality of what giant ants would actually be able to do. They'd be scurrying all around that desert. Their colonies would be vast, and mankind would be wiped out within days. But these are big lumbering puppets. The great makeup supremo Dick Smith, The Exorcist, Taxi Driver, oh god, so many movies, The Sentinel. He devised, he's part of the team, but he fabricated the huge full-size giant ant. There's only one full-size giant ant in this, but you've got many others which are just partial. Heads, mandibles, antennae, and the front legs, and some which are just like half ants, so that the back half is gone but the front half is there. But you'll see several of these. You've seen a few already now, but they're just the partial ants, but they're still puppeteered and they're still fantastic. Even though they're not realistic in so many ways, they've got sort of afro stubble all over their bodies, which doesn't make any sense. And they've also got kind of like really weird big eyes, which are not, again, realistic. But they're mutants. They're mutant monsters. So it works. But I think a remake has the remit to try to create them. Normal ants, just giant-sized, and as ferocious as real ants really are. The only other species on the planet to wage war. Out of greed, out of tactics and strategy to own other land, other colonies, to take over food sources. No other animal will do that, but they will. And I like the way this looks great, doesn't it? Look at this. The gas masks, the torches, the lanterns, the flamethrowers. The film Chud would reenact this. And also, obviously, Alien, and indeed Alien and Aliens both reenact flamethrowers and people going through dark tunnels with insectoid beasties lurking in the shadows. Ugh. You get these little acerbic 1950s quips, hardman quips. Spits just hold me together as well at the moment. God, how much deeper would you go? I know they've got to find out. Is the nest completely vanquished? Have the queens gone? And of course you're going to find out that yes. Look at that ground mist. Dry ice. Isn't it fantastic? Here we go. What's that? Shit. The lighting, the edits and the sound effects are great. Fuck that. Flamethrowers, one of the most monstrous of weapons ever created. You know, apart from big bombs and all that sort of stuff, but. Look if you can hear them through the gas masks. You'd be going like, what? What are you saying? What? 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 All these hulks and carcasses. Beautiful. Dead atmospheric. Look at these. You got the larvae and pupa, or whatever you call it. Look at all these. They're great effects, you know. And they're quite big. Look, there's living ones in there, wriggling round. Oh, God. God, you wouldn't want to get too close to them, would you? Oh, shit. No. Oh, God, no. No. Bollocks. We're too late. Isn't that great? They're like, what? You know, she's gone suddenly genocidal. Burn it, burn everything. Christ. I mean, Ripley, when she takes out all the eggs in front of the Queen in Aliens, that's exactly that scene, just amplified. Yeah, so, you know, this is why these ants do look different, I suppose. They're saying that they shouldn't have hatched quite that quickly. It's all part of the mutation process. And this is where the whole thing is, oh no, it's the end of the world. I love the way he describes this. The honeymoon. 2 young queen ants hatch and with their suitors go flying into the breeze. Oh, that's the end of the world. Don't sugar the pill, Doctor. But these giants, I don't know. I don't know, you guess. No, I'm just a general that flies helicopters. Well, maybe the end of us. Oh, you might see Leonard Nimoy soon. Leonard Nimoy, Dr. Spock, makes a cameo appearance in this, which is not entirely illogical. But first you've got to have the big briefing and a lot more ciggy smoking, obviously. Look at these guys, all these stern faces, look at them all. And again, you've got a state trooper there. Where's your clearance? What are you doing in that war room there? Why are you there? Look at the size of James Arness there. See, now they're not holding back. And that's on purpose, that's deliberate as well. You've got him now. He's the FBI guy who they've been trying to keep his height sort of in check, but now because these guys have seen what's out there and they've got to try and convince all the top brass how serious this situation really is. They're going to have him, who's on their side, standing fucking tall and proud and broad as a friggin' battleship. So you get this, you get the little sort of the documentary footage, the David Attenborough stuff. Look at that. That's pure vintage 1930s horror movie. That the lighting and him being like sort of the scientist or the mad professor. Christ, look at the size difference there. That's the James Arnett of ants. Oh, that's reassuring, isn't it? He's a big, bad, savage bastard. Very similar to what we found in the desert. These giant mutations. Imagine him, but 15 feet bigger. See, in a way, you know, do they undo their own effects by showing real ants like this in such macro photography and stuff? Do they? I don't think so. I think the giant ants in this were great. They are genuinely frightening. Bloody noise they make. Okay, they've got big floppy antennae, but they've got them big mandibles, and you do see them sort of in this film's interpretation of ants en masse, which you only see about 3 or 4 in one shot ever, and only one of them will be a complete one. The rest are all partial. But they're going through walls and they're knocking down struts and beams, and you know it's still frightening. Here's the queens. A winged male. The bliss of married life, just to mate once and then die. Oh God, if only. That was good timing, wasn't it? No, they lose their wings after the wedding flight. See, what has dropped off now? Come on, Dr. Medford, you've seen this video before, haven't you? You knew exactly what was coming up there. I love that shot there. As I say, it's almost it's very Germanic in many ways. You know, the mad professor with the cine film unspooling behind him, projected. I love that as well. That's frightening. The campaign. They are chronic aggressors. Shit. How are you meant to combat that? So in reality, if ants did get to that size, what bloody chance would we stand? None. And a savagery that makes man look feeble by comparison. See that general down there. What I was saying about the fashions being outsized. They had to make his uniform bigger than him 10 times because all the medals and epaulets he's got. Ooh. Oh man, that's a dominant species on this planet, will be extinct within a year, Doctor. And a guy who hasn't spoken or been seen before just goes, how do you know? Can't say a thing, boys. Sorry. What the fuck? Oh yeah, this is where Leonard Nimoy. Monitor all news for kidnappings, missing persons, unsolved murders, alleged suicides, migrations of wildlife, thefts of sugar, syrup, sweets, strange phenomena, flying saucers, strange odours. Leonard Nimoy! Here he is. It's Mr. Spock himself. And he does get to speak. Listen. Those Texans, where big stories are told, Texans always tell them. It's Dr. Spock, folks. See, this mid-section here is very procedural and investigatory. That's a word, isn't it? Investigatory. So you were saying like before, like when it in the background of that shot there, you've got like James Arness in the sort of mid-ground, but dominating the entire frame. But you had James Whitmore just twiddling stuff around in the background, trying to just distract from the size of this bastard. Here's Alex Crotty, who became Davy Crockett. What's his name? Fess? What's his name? Oh, Fess Parker. He's a Texan pilot who witnessed flying ants, although he called them UFOs, but they were shaped like ants. But these guys, no one else believes him. These guys know he's telling the truth, but they can't let him get out because if his story gets out, mass panic, paranoia. You know, dogs and cats living together, real biblical stuff. So they've got to keep him incarcerated, even though they know he's telling the truth. So in a way, it's kind of like, this is what the government do. You know the truth, but we're going to have to keep you quiet. And you know, it's got a lot of there's a lot of legacy with this kind of storytelling here. We know he's a good guy and he's not lying, and they know it, but this guy's not going to get out of there. See the flying saucer boom of the 50s, the early 50s, of course, the Foo Fighters and all that sort of stuff. So everything was flying saucers. The thing from the world, DDS was still, it's all flying saucers. Ants in your pants. Not good when you're a pilot. He's good, isn't he? I like this guy. Fess Parker. I mean, he's only got this scene, but he's good. I like him. Come on, if you're going to keep a bloody state trooper on the payroll and fighting the ants, get him. He's bloody seen him. He's on your side, for God's sake. Jesus, this guy's getting a fucking severe neck cramp looking up at James Arness. Yeah. If this gets out, we're going to kill not only him, but all of you and all your staff. This poor guy's thinking, what the fuck? You know. So we've done some travel in this movie from the deserts of New Mexico, you're up in Washington, and you've been there, and you're going to go to other places, and you're going to end up in LA. We better inform the Mexican authorities. You only just thought about that now. But the Mexicans, does it matter? Nah. Would they even notice? Nah. Imagine they'd be getting giant ants and cramming them into great big bottles of mezcal and tequila. Get in there. Oh, great scene this, great scene. Look at it. This is a ship at sea. The SS Viking, Singapore bound. And a nest has hatched on board the ship. Look at this though. He's got the revolver there. Frantic Morse code. There's carnage taking place. Look at that. Oh, Jesus. Oh, fuck off. That's horrible, that. There's another Wilhelm scream there, by the way. I think that was the second Wilhelm scream you've had. You will get a couple more. Now, in a remake, that could really be elaborated upon. It could be an entire sequence. Yeah. So when he went out, rescue party got out there, the ship was infested with the giant ants, so they destroyed the ship at sea. His voice is great. It's so grandfatherly. You can imagine sitting on his lap and he tells you a story. Well, if you're sitting comfortably, I'm going to tell you about when I fought the giant ants. Oh, these giant ants, they were so big. They could overturn cars. They could go straight through a house like a steam train. They could rip you in two with their mandibles. Oh, you're not sleepy anymore? No, Grandad, you're scaring the shit out of me. The lung cancer in that room alone must be like more dire than the threat of giant ants. Maps. Gotta love big wall maps and putting pinholes and flags into them and drawing little, patterns. Here you go. A large sugar theft. It does seem kind of comical that you're gonna have, my God, any theft, any large scale theft of sugar should be reported, because ants love sugar. To be fair, you've seen the size of the ants now. That entire thing would have been overturned. Or was it just like a scout fancied a bit of a midnight snack? And look, you've got Ben Peterson, James Whitmore, standing high above James Arness. Again, it's all combating the size differential. Wise guy, hey? Yeah. These are great. These witnesses are fantastic. Yeah, thanks for hot sugar. Yes. And suddenly, I'm stuttering here because that woman you just saw in the background there, well, that's going to come to the fore, that story. Her husband had his arms severed. They know what's done it. You can't say too much. And the thing is, he had two sons that he was down in the storm drains, the dry river of LA. Yeah. No sign of the kids. Look at him, he's massive. She's good as well. The fingers, the agitation. So she's lost her husband, he's been ripped up, lost an arm. But the two kids, the two boys are missing. Ah. Again, you know, you've got the fantasy of this kind of movie, the big bugs and whoa, it's sensational. But this film manages to bring in humanity, tragedy and despair. The little girl at the start, this woman right now, Mrs. Lodge. Yes, a little cup of water, that'll do the trick. Drink this and stop blubbering. I mean, Douglas Gordon, the director, does get some great performances out of these people. I mean, that, again, you've had fun, you've had the documentary style, the investigative sort of stuff going on, the mystery and suspense, and, you know, the visions and sightings of the ants and battling them already. And then you get this, and like the jeopardy of two young boys, the despair and panic and worry of a mother, and it grounds it again, it brings it back down. So the film has so many of these different levels to it, which is why it works, why it still stands the test of time. I don't believe it, my dog is now dreaming. This could get quite noisy, knowing her. She's lying just down there. Drunks and a traffic citation. They're going to go and have to interview some drunks. Look at these guys, are great. And you're going to get Olin Howard, or Olin Howlin, as he was often referred to. And again, this will be, it's the sort of the seesawing of emotion in this movie, the despair and the tragedy of Mrs. Lodge. And now you're going to meet Jensen, who's the alcoholic. Yeah. She weren't chased by a giant ant, if that's what you're thinking. Here we go, this is Jensen. I'm laughing already because I think he's great. Look at him. Mind your manners, Jensen. Got some big deals on. Yeah. The way his expression changes, he's manic, but he has seen something. Sorry, folks, I'm listening to him because I think he's great. Make me a sergeant in charge of the booze. Look at him. Look at his face now. Right, he's seen them down there, the storm drains. That's it. Yeah, the ants look very, very appetizing, very appealing as a home base for the ants. You're not recruiting, are you? You can't make me, you can't enlist me. And then all of a sudden, that guy there was in Laurel and Hardy movies and Harold Lloyd stuff. He's got one of them faces. Thug. Didn't he film Grease down there? Thunder Road? Did they not film Terminator 2 down there as well? Not the most idyllic of places in Los Angeles, is it? So Jensen had a perfect view. And they work it out. This is where the guy who lost his arm and his life, trying to defend his kids. And his kids must have run back in the hole. Oh, they were flying an airplane. He's rolled his cacks up. Walking through that shit. You know, if it wasn't giant ants down there, it'd be a giant alligator. Or a mutant baby on the loose. Who remembers that? Come on now. That's your trivia quiz. It's good framing of the shots there. It's very simplistic, but you're aware of Kibby in the background there. And he finds something while they're talking, and you're still aware of him and watching what he's doing. Uh-oh. And the Kibby's going, did I do good? Did I do good? Is that one of them? One of them there ants? I get no smell of formic acid, do you? No, but just the same, it all fall right into place. No, I can just smell your armpits. Yeah, but where are they? Oh, you see, and here becomes the big double crux of the finale of the movie. Not only are you going to defeat the ants, you've got to save the kids. Brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. It's so beautifully conceived, giving you an extra impetus. Got to save the two little lads. Doesn't matter who you are, your heart's already massively entwined around that now, and that predicament. If anybody's actually not watching the film and looking at the camera, I do apologise for that strange pink ghost that went past. We have many spooks in this mansion. That was just one. That was just the pinkest of them all. No time for questions. Just listen to me. General James who's got the jacket that James Arness should be wearing because he's got shoulders 10 times bigger than his body has any human rights to be. My God, look at the ears on this guy. Martial law. Jesus Christ. You never want to hear that, do you? And you always, you want it to be for, public safety. But whenever martial law is declared, it's never to look after you. Never. Look at that. Is that like a 3D screen they've got going there? Look at them big dashboards. Wow. Big old American cars. You'd be like, shut the fuck up. Did I just hear them right? Giant ants. But it's great the way they listen to it and they're kind of like, what? And they turn around and see all, Marines and GIs flooding past. See, in a remake, what you want to see is the endless battles in the streets. In the second half of the movie, I would say, keep the first half of any remake in the desert. Keep the mystery alive for as long as you can. And then once they're revealed, let all hell break loose. Look at these guys. Bronislaw Caper's music kicks in again, like with a big militaristic sort of stomp. Sturm and Drang. This does look great, Right, you guys, walk past the camera now. 20 of you going that way, 20 of you going this way. Look busy, look alive. Get the fuck, that's the mother. See, I love that. Now all of a sudden he is, I'm just a state trooper, but get the fuck out of my face. I'm looking after her. Her kids are in there. And he'll go beyond that. Good old heroic Ben Peterson. Try not to worry. Yeah, your husband's been ripped up by giant ants and your kids are missing in the nest of the giant ants. But try not to worry. See, look, the bloody helmet on James Arness looks like the top of a pea stuck on his head, doesn't it? Oh yeah, fuck the press. Really? I like this though. Because yeah, maybe you're right. If any of you seen that, she'll never forgive me. She'll never forgive me. Well, it could have been worse. She could have been in the usual stockings and suspenders and not much else. Come on, boys. This is one of the iconic last acts of any sci-fi movie. The army going in, but going to the storm drains with the lights and trying to keep quiet, listening out for noises. It's brilliant. And they've got the maps, and they're gonna, we're going down the east tunnel, blah blah blah. Where are you? I'm 400 yards down this tunnel. It's great. Come on, lads, run, run, run! Oh, it does look good, I love this. There was another film in the 60s called Battle Beneath the Earth, I think it was, where the Japs were invading America. They tunneled all the way from Japan to America. And who's to say they haven't? And people were hearing noises under the the sidewalk, under the streets, and they send the army down there, and they see these Japanese invaders in jeeps and trucks and weird stuff like tractors and things, and then a huge battle wages down there underneath the streets. But it's very similar in many ways to this, the depiction of jeeps and troops. Jeeps and troops! And there's plenty of action down here as well. You've got the suspense of it all. And the reminder that there's a human cost here. It's a great and I think necessary device to have, the anxious mother. It brings it all. It's not as large scale. It's clearly an epic battle. It could be the end of mankind, but it brings it down to a very humanistic level. And again, you've got what are you again? You're a state trooper from New Mexico. The fuck are you doing here? Who asked you? Stop all motors. You got to listen. Oh. Give me the dog sighing. Is this bloody film still on? Because he's taking command as well. Thing is, I like him, so I'm going along with that. Oh yeah, this bit's still under construction. I'm going in. You do it. You do it as well. This crazy motherfucker's going through. I mean, he's gonna go and check this other tunnel. Yeah, he's gone through. I don't think he's coming back. Look, it's big enough to crawl through with your flamethrower on your back as well. That was convenient, wasn't it? But this is tremendous, this. Of all this, like that, everyone's just pensive and listening. If I was him, I'd be going like, so all over the airways. Jesus, you know, you might have been best to hold back on that until you ascertain the safety and can you get him out. Look at this, the fucking answer there. Look at the kid's face. One's in shock there. I've seen people comment on this and they're like, oh, one lad's really acting, the other one's just doing nothing. But people react differently in shock. Some just completely freeze and have no expression. And some are like, well, they're climbing the walls and crying and screaming and doing all sorts. And you've got both doing the different extremes. I mean, in reality, those ants would have got through there quite quickly and had them. Get in there! Go now! And also, in reality, these fuckers would have crashed into each other by now and overturned, causing a traffic jam in the tunnels. I'm not going down. You going down? I'm not going down. George Straws, I'm not going down there. Caper's score gets a bit too sort of generically old school and excitable at this stage, but the action and the suspense is brilliant. Look at him. Fucking Ben, look at that lad's face. Oh my god. The film's depiction of kids in jeopardy and kids who are traumatized is incredible in this movie. It really is. Look at him. Like, fuck you. I don't care, that scares me. Them bloody big mandibles. Come on. Look at him. Fuck off. See, a lot of those shots have been 3D. They were devised to be 3D. Look at this coming up behind him. Come on, kids. Go on, up you get. Go on. Watch out for them big fucking steel bars I bent back. Like, get up there. You'd fucking hail him through, wouldn't you? Oh, no. See the mouth move as well. Oh. You've got partial Wilhelm in there as well. A partial Wilhelm. Oh, bloody hell. You know what? Again, these are the partial ants you've got there, but it looks great. You get the impression there's loads. Rifle grenades. Oh, shit. How about the kids, Ben? They're like, what about me? Crushed. Jesus. There's like one like Zulu in it. It's effective. Only one or two, maybe three, some partial corpses there, but you get one driving through all the columns and the wooden beams. You do get the impression there's a lot more ants there. I forget those what those grenades are called, but every sort of third one that was fired would just drop off the end and cause untold havoc for the ones who were firing it, if you know what I mean. You need a hell of a lot of ammo to take these down. Here we go. Wilhelm again. Ah! Because you do get the impression that hurt him. The way his body's flopping all over the place there. This is crazy. You've had Ben Peterson with his last stand, and you're going to get, what's his name, Robert Graham, having his own last stand as well. So he's trapped now. The ceiling collapsed. He's on his own. The men are all behind him. Gotta dig through. You're on your Jack Jones, mate. But come on, you're bigger than the ants. This is great though. His final sort of struggle. And he ends up shooting and scampering all over the place. And they're coming for him all over. It's James Honest. I can do a Wilhelm scream as well. Look at this, they're all over the place. Fucking hell. About time too. What kept you? You know, in a movie now, that would be the line. What kept you? I'm sorry, I had a crushing appointment. Oh. Hello. Come on, Medfords. What are you looking at? No, she looked at his shoulder as if like, wow. Is that really your shoulder? I feel sorry for the ants here. Imagine looking at all your tormentors, your executioners, just peering down at you. Again, that would have been a massive 3D shot, that. Imagine the heat and the stench in there. Even on the film set, letting them rip. Here we go, the epitaph. Everyone thinks about it. And you've got the ass in the grass marines and grunts who just go like, what do you think? The end of mankind. Folks, I absolutely adore that movie. It's fantastic. I hope you got through this. There were plenty of interruptions there. You know, the pink ghost was skittering past the place. There's a hairdryer going right now. My dog was snoring. There was plenty of, you know, peripheral interruptions. And there was me talking all over the bloody movie. Cheers, y'all. I think you can see how that film has so much to offer. The mystery, the weirdness, what's doing it, what's out there, the poignancy, the haunting desert landscapes, that ant stridulation, which is so magnificent and so unforgettable. And then they've got the big sort of nationwide investigation taking place, and the comedy, the bit of brevity with the drunks and all that. And then you get the family despair, father being dismembered by the ants, and his kids, his two sons, being trapped, and the despairing, tragic, forlorn mother clinging against, you know, all adversity, hoping that she's going to get her kids back, and the self-sacrifice that Ben Peterson makes, and the grunts going against the ants, and flamethrowers, rocket launchers, grenades, machine gun fire, finally wins the day. But it's prophetic. when man entered the Atom Age, he opened the doorway. What we find in there, God only knows. But it's magnificent, and it's so of its time and yet forward thinking. It would open the doors and the floodgates to other big bug movies, the likes of Tarantula and the Incredible Shrinking Man, which obviously they weren't big bugs. It was a little man, but great big bugs. But we've had big bugs in so many other things, and just monster movies. It still works a treat. It's incredibly exciting. It's well acted. The effects still stand up. They're clearly of their time, but they're great. I have no issue with those ants. I think they look amazing. And if one of them was coming out, like Bruce the Shark, a great big, animatronic, robotic, bloody shark, which is clearly fake. But if those jaws are coming at you, you're going to shit yourself. If you're stuck on a boat and that thing comes crashing towards you, or churning through the sea on its underwater raft being propelled, you are going to crap yourself. Likewise, those ants, 15, 18 feet long, with big floppy antennae, but those great big bloody mandibles coming at you, and you've got to react to that. Again, with CG, in most movies, they're reacting to nothing. A couple of golf balls or tennis balls, a bit of mocap taking place. Doesn't work. Or it's just painted in completely behind you. But with that, they're reacting to something which is genuinely in front of them, and it's genuinely that those mandibles are chomping towards you. Folks, it's great. I adore this movie. And I made that can last for quite a hell of a long time, which is quite weird for me. I do think that Michael Giacchino, with his remake, has got... He's got a tough act to follow. He's got big ant boots to fill. But I think he'll do it. I think, as I've been saying in many of the videos now about the possible remake of this, that it's got a lot of potential and it could really work. You show those ants and what they really can do. Imagine, LA really under siege by the ants. So your third act of the movie would be genuinely all-out carnage. Hasn't got to be LA. It could be Washington. It could be anywhere. It could be in a variety of cities. They may have to find some other kind of secret weapon, some kind of poison gas thing which will wipe them all out, and then ship it across to all these different little war zones. So, I don't know. Is it going to hinge on the same thing where we found the last of the flying ants, the queens. This is the last nest. Yes, once we've done this, it's all over. How do you know that? Oh, I wouldn't be convinced by, Edmund Gwenn, just because he's Father Christmas. I wouldn't be convinced by his diagnosis, his prognosis of the whole scenario. This is the last of them. No, I'm not buying that for a second. You wouldn't trust it. You have to go and completely incinerate and scorched earth policy, literally, in New Mexico, because how many other of these bloody ants might there be? And as I said before, why is there no tarantulas or snakes that have been, or other insects that have become irradiated and become mutated? I don't know. Anyway, folks, I have been always shall be Kilt-Man. Hope you enjoyed this rather ramshackle, or should that be rant-shackle watch party and commentary, because there'll be many more to come. But them is superlative. It's one of the most magnificent big bug creature feature movies of all time, and any remake will not be better than it. It'll just be a new version of it, and the two can stand side by side and both be admired. We'll always admire the original. Hopefully a remake will be honourable and exciting and deliver the gory goods that you want. And you got gore in that. You did get gore in that. There was rib cages and skulls. There was old Gramps Johnson thrown into his basement with his snapped rifle and his chest caved in, full of formic acid. It's going to start again in a minute. Folks, please keep it kilted, keep it Celtic, and I am going to see you at a picnic, an ant-infested picnic near you. Woo. And if you've got an itch in your pants, that's nothing to do with me.